All right. So right about here, we're in there. We can
Okay.
talk to each other. We don't have to talk to the
Okay.
camera. So I'm Jeff, first of all.
My name is Joe.
Joe, okay, I guess we can't shake hands.
Okay.
So yeah, what's your initial response? Like, what do you think happens after we die? What do you think comes next? If
Well-
anything, I have to say that.
Yeah. Well, I was raised Catholic,
Uh-huh.
but not really that.
Not
Yeah.
real,
Really.
Devout?
religious. Yeah. No.
okay.
So growing up, you think that after you die, if you're good, you go to hell. I mean, if you're good, you go to heaven. If,
Yeah.
if you're bad, behave in a bad way,
Yeah,
then you go to hell.
yeah,
And then later, by reading and this, say, your life ends. But then, if you're lucky, or I guess, whatever you can say, you can become a new life,
a reincarnated?
reincarnated.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's true or not, like anything else.
yeah,
I had my doubts of, how it's going to happen.
yeah.
So, I don't know.
So you were Catholic, but as an adult came to a point where
As
it's
an
like
adult,
you're not quite,
you
not quite sure.
start reading about other religions,
Yeah,
about other way of thinking.
yeah. Would you say most of that was on the internet or just different places?
No,
you've read?
I read a lot,
Yeah, yeah.
and when growing up, I didn't have that many religious books around, just
Okay.
Catholics.
Yeah. So
Even-
so it's kind of a shock, like growing up, you're in one religion, then all of a sudden you realize, hey, not everyone believes the same thing.
Exactly. Not everyone believes the same thing,
Yeah,
and then you start questioning things,
yeah,
and that questioning stuff, curiosity about life,
yeah.
is what it takes you to read stuff.
Questioning is good, I think.
Well, yeah, it's very good.
I think we grow up believing what we're told to believe,
Yeah.
and then unless we ask questions and pursue it for ourselves, we're basically believing our parents' beliefs,
Yes.
and so we have to take ownership of it and decide for ourselves. So let me ask you this, Joe: how do you how do you determine if something is true or not?
Well, actually,
what
you
would
have
be-
to believe. You have to believe in we all have a common sense.
Okay, common
And
sense.
we all have inner feelings.
Yeah,
And if you believe actually, I believe in God. Obviously, I believe in God.
yeah. Do you believe in God?
I believe in God.
Yeah,
But I don't believe in anything else. Like
Right.
the Catholic Church would say, the
Right.
scientists. When I was growing up, I would question why we have so many virtues, why we have so many saints, why we have so many people like that.
yeah,
And if I ask the question, my mom would say, "You have to believe it because they're telling you.
yeah.
You have to believe
Just by the authority. Yeah,
You don't. That's what it called faith."
yeah,
And then I thought, it's so many things that cannot be true.
yeah. Things that are contradicting each other.
It's whatever they're telling you is contradictory to what you believe now, what you
Yeah.
see in life.
Yeah,
Just a question like how is it that the people who is more close to God, let's say,
yeah,
is the meanest people? It doesn't make sense.
yeah,
Why is it that you question or you start talking about other people?
yeah.
Why it makes you think that you're better than somebody
Like
else?
judging other people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What makes you think that you're better than other people, other human beings?
yeah,
When God said we're all equal.
yeah,
It does. See, I start. When I was growing up, we had another religions,
yeah,
and we always blame the Protestants. They're bad.
yeah,
Muslims are bad people. Don't play with this kid because but actually, it wasn't true.
yeah,
You play with the kids when you're growing up. You don't care
right.
how color is or how faithful he
The
is.
only thing you have to go on is what the adults tell you, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you proven yourself that he's your best friend, even if he's a different religion, he's your best friend.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
what they say. You know what I mean? Just so you start,
Yeah.
so you start your own beliefs,
Yeah.
and then you start questioning stuff.
Do you think, like when you've questioned, have you prayed about it? Like, if you said, God, tell me about this? You know,
Well,
like
yeah,
that?
sure. Because you know, even when I'm in trouble, I'm not a very religious guy, but when I'm in trouble, when I have a problem, God guide me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does it help? You don't know if don't.
It's hard to know what you would have avoided if you hadn't prayed. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to tell what happened if you will not believe.
Yeah.
What happened if you will never believe in God
Right.
to begin with?
Right. Now, when you pray, like when you think about God, how do you picture God? Like, what do you believe about God? Do you believe God is someone you can talk to and that would actually answer us somehow? You know, one way or another. Hello.
No, it used to be that I would picture God as Jesus Christ.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
then later I started believing, no, this cannot be. It has to be a more powerful figure
Yeah.
behind all this. You know, God didn't have to prove for us that He died on the cross, right? Why
Mhm.
would He have to prove that?
Right.
To me, it makes no sense.
Yeah. Now, have you read the Bible much, or?
Yeah, I read the Bible. I didn't understand much at the beginning.
Yeah.
Um,
When as a young, you know, like was it like a teenager or?
as a teenager, we had no Bible.
Oh.
You know,
Yeah. So as an adult, you read the Bible.
as an adult,
Okay.
I started reading it, but I did not understand it.
Yeah.
And then the church they formed a group for
Like a Bible study group or something.
Bible study group.
Uh huh.
I started going,
Yeah.
but I still had all these things that make no sense to me
Yeah. Yeah.
because you know certain sections of the church. I mean, not on the church, in the Bible it says, you know, God eliminated all these people,
Yeah.
Sodom and Gomorrah, right?
Yeah.
He killed them completely.
Yeah. And don't forget Noah's flood.
Yeah,
That we're talking to everybody now.
Everybody.
Yeah.
For whatever mistake they make, they didn't believe.
Yeah.
They had plenty of chances to believe. They say, no, it's crazy. He's dumb.
Yeah.
He's an old man. They had plenty of chances. And on the story of Sodom, and same thing. They had so many chances. They said, if I find 4 people, will you let them live?
Yeah. You remember that story? Yeah.
He said, no.
Yeah.
There is no 4 people in there.
Right.
Well, it was 1.
Yeah. Well, he said 50 and then 40. And,
Yeah, he
Yeah.
went down.
Yeah.
So actually, just the people he was saving, the only people that
Yeah.
had any kinds of.
How do you think you would do if you were in that city? Would you be one of the righteous ones, or
No,
would you...
I think I will be one of the ones that got wiped out.
Yeah. Which doesn't.
It's
not a good thought, right?
No. See, that's why most of us, when something's come up and you start worrying about, that's what gives you that sense of uncertainty.
Uncertainty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
If I will believe that I will be saved,
Uh huh.
then I will lose myself.
You'd lose yourself?
Yeah, because look at all the people. They say, look at all through history. Oh, our God is the righteous God, and they will kill the Muslims. Oh, my God is the better than yours, and they will kill these people.
Yeah.
What is the right? It makes no sense.
Yeah.
And those were the right people.
Yeah. I'll just say this real quick. My understanding is that, as Christians, I'm Protestant, but we put our faith in Jesus. We believe we're saved, not because I deserve it. I don't deserve it. I'm a sinner.
Yeah.
Jesus died for sinners, right?
Yeah.
So I believe I'm going to heaven not because I deserve it, but because Jesus died for me. And so how do I feel about other people of other beliefs? I would say that that I should love them and that I should tell them about Jesus, because they might go to hell. See what I'm saying? So it's not like, oh, they believe something different, I'm going to go kill them or hurt them.
Yeah, it used to be that way.
Yeah. Well,
it still is in the Middle East.
Well, religion
it's
is
still going on.
Very divisive.
Even us here.
Yeah.
There is no races. It's just human race. But no, this is blood. They're a little bad. Oh, Mexicans are bad.
Yeah.
Oh, this group. Oh no, we the righteous. We the right people.
Yeah.
They should not be involved.
Yeah.
Because there is only human race. If the world goes down the drain, everybody is gonna go in the same package. Nobody look at the virus now.
Yeah.
It's killing everybody, and I was reading that a lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are getting nervous breakdowns and stuff.
Because of the shutdown.
They're afraid of dying.
Yeah.
Let
me ask you this, Joe. So you understand the Bible does teach about a heaven and a hell.
Yes.
And what if it was true? And I want to say this first of all. When I asked you, where do you find truth, right? For me, the understanding is, and for Christians, the understanding is that we can't tell God the terms of our relationship with Him. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All the cards are in His hand. And so, and all truth would be in God's hand, and He would know all things. And so if we're going to get any knowledge from anywhere, if we depend on ourselves in terms of our relationship with God, we're going to get it wrong. So we need to turn to God and say, okay, God, you tell me, right? And so the Bible becomes that place where we do find those answers. Now, I know, the first time you read it, it can be hard to understand.
Well, it's very difficult.
Yeah. There are large parts of the Bible that are easy to understand. It's just that, sometimes we get hung up in the parts that are hard, and so we think we can't understand anything.
Well, you can understand the easy parts.
Yeah.
You can understand
And what I've discovered is that if I understand them and I see that Jesus is telling me, for example, to be kind and loving, that's not too hard to understand.
No, no, and it's not difficult.
What is hard is the Old Testament passages where they're, the Jewish people are killing others, and it's
even there,
Uh-huh.
I had a Jewish friend.
Uh-huh.
We we're talking right now.
Yeah.
And he would say that Jesus was just a prophet. It used to bother me. It used to make me angry.
Yeah.
For him saying that.
Yeah, they don't believe he's the Messiah.
They were still waiting for the Messiah.
Yeah.
And then we get upset.
Yeah.
Then I realized, okay, that's what a lot of people kill themselves. Because, if I tell you you're wrong, I'm another guy.
I had the same. I had the same feelings when people would disagree with what I believe, and then I started doing these conversations, and I realized how many different beliefs there are, and I realized I can't change anyone's mind.
But you can give them whatever knowledge you have.
Yeah, and I like to try to help people understand the Bible better. Because I think the Bible can speak for itself if people will,
It's awesome. We don't want to follow it.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for us to follow it.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
We should not have any kind of problem in the world. We follow the
Yeah.
Ten Commandments.
Can you imagine what this world would be like? We wouldn't even have to have keys or locks on our doors.
I remember growing up in my small. I was born in Mexico. It's a small town. Nobody locked their doors.
Yeah.
Everybody knew each other.
Yeah.
And they everything changed.
Oh, really?
Now when I go back, everybody likes it.
And they probably have walls around their
we had our
property.
We had our truck, our tractor. We used to leave the keys in there, and nobody would bother. Nothing. But now, it's everything changed.
Yeah.
Little kids have no respect for older people.
Yeah.
I grew up when everybody, if you misbehave, everybody had the right to tell you, hey, what you doing?
Right. Yeah. It was more like a community as you were being raised by the whole.
So you were not only afraid that your grandfather or your father wasn't around, but you were afraid that other people see you and doing stuff, and they will tell them.
Right.
And they will say, I'm going to tell your father.
Yeah.
Oh, no. You know?
Yeah.
You try to tell them now.
Yeah. I think, things have changed.
What happened?
I mean, I think young people, little kids, are learning disobedience from an early age. They're seeing other kids on TV and on social media, and they're seeing other kids misbehaving, and now they're realizing, maybe I don't have to do what my parents say. And
do this.
Yeah, I'm a high school teacher, so I know all about
I,
it.
I grew up in a Catholic schools.
I
went to Catholic school.
Yeah.
And then I went out to school, college, and that's when I start changing my mind about it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because then you open to more different ways of thinking.
Yeah. Well, the Bible is very, like what I hear you saying is that the thing that kind of turns you off to the, what the Bible message is, that it's very exclusive. Like only certain people will be saved, right?
Yeah.
But the Bible does present, and the way Jesus tells it is, his salvation is for everybody, And so it's very universal that way, and it deals with a universal problem, and the universal problem is we all know right from wrong, and we do the wrong thing, and how can we have a good relationship with God if we disobey his rules? And so all the religions are trying to answer that question. How can we justify ourselves even though we've sinned and we've broken God's rules?
Yeah, I was telling you that I had a Jewish friend, and he was telling me, they still waiting for the Messiah.
Yeah.
And he will tell me, listen, Jesus Christ came in, and he died for all our sins.
You told him this?
Yeah.
Okay.
He said,
no. Yeah.
Because he said there would be peace after that.
There would be what?
Peace. There would be no more hate.
Yeah.
Because he died.
Yeah.
So it seems.
Yeah.
Did that happen?
There was not peace after that.
Peace after that. So,
can I tell you what?
It's very difficult to tell them off too.
Yeah. Can I tell you what the Bible says about that?
Sure.
It does predict that Jesus will come and he will make peace and he will be the king, right? Mm-hmm. And everyone will be under his rule. But it also predicts that he will come and he will suffer and he will die. He will be disfigured,
Yeah.
And so the Jewish people, for the most part, some have become Christians. But for the most part, they think all of those, well, they kind of don't pay attention to the idea that the Messiah will suffer or be persecuted. And so they see him as this coming king who will redeem them. And the fact is, Jesus came once, he's going to come twice. Yeah. The first time he came and he suffered and he died for people like us, that we could have eternal life. And then the second time he comes, that's when all of those prophecies will be answered.
Yeah.
But the Jew,
like on the second time.
Yeah. Who wants to believe in a Messiah who's suffering and who's,
That's exactly the problem.
Yeah.
That's exactly the problem. Then you start reading all kind of stuff. I was reading the Mayan people.
Yeah.
They predicted that the world would end in
what was it? 2012. Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Right. There's been a lot of predictions about
everybody's
that.
Oh shit, And then I read about that stuff that says, no, the world will die as we know it, will end as we know it.
Yeah.
Another sense of unity will come.
Yeah.
People will have to unite. People will be in a higher frequency.
Yeah.
You know. But you start seeing this.
Yeah.
All these divisions, came to the end. Now we have to understand. We have to get together and love each other, which is one of the precepts. What was the last commandment?
The last what?
The last commandment.
The last commandment.
He was 10, and then said,
love your neighbor as yourself.
And then he said, I will give you another one. Love your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
It was the last one.
What is the last one?
That's the last one. This is the last thing he said.
Oh. Well, he said, love the Lord your God and love your neighbor as yourself. Yeah.
As yourself.
Yeah.
And, and involving that, what he said, will solve all the problems.
Yeah.
Just think about it.
I mean, you're right. Now, love, there are different disagreements on what does it mean to love people. Yeah. So,
well, we
to give them everything they want.
We're not dumb enough to know that if you're gonna love your neighbor as yourself, you're not gonna hurt them. You're gonna get do anything.
It's pretty basic.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
It's nothing difficult to understand on that.
Yeah.
But we can twist it and say, it cannot be. It's different love.
Yeah. I mean, as a high school teacher, I want to love my students, right? But I lovingly give them their homework. They get mad at me because it's like, well, we don't want to do this homework, I'm thinking of their long-term good, and so I call it tough love. And so they might not think I'm loving. They might think, oh, he's a strict teacher. He gives us lots of work. And I think I'm considering, thinking about your future. And I want to teach you these skills,
I told you, I'm Mexican. Growing up with a Mexican.
Yeah. Probably get lots of tough love, right?
Mexican moms are very loving. But if you behave, they will smack you.
Yeah.
And then they will
throw their shoe at you.
Throw their shoe at you, and they will come on. I did this because of this.
Yeah.
That's tough love.
Right.
And you understand it. But if you let a kid grow up just thinking, I'm not going to hurt his feelings.
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
What do you think would be the most loving thing God could do for us?
The most loving thing God can do for us?
Yeah.
Well, what is His plan?
Huh?
What is His plan? His plan was, I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to love each other, right?
Well,
talk to your friends. And then you'll find out that nobody's happy.
Yeah.
For one thing or another.
Yeah.
I will ask you, why are you laughing? Why are you smiling all the time? Why? What's wrong with you? It's if you're a happy person, it's very difficult to understand why somebody else isn't happy all the time.
Yeah, true.
If you feel good about yourself, then you're going to be happy.
Yeah. For me, it's not that I think that I'm a good person or I deserve, everything that God has given me. I feel the best word I can say is I'm blessed, which means God has been good to me even though I don't deserve it.
Well,
and that makes me happy.
Look at your age. How old are you?
57.
All right. Some people will never make it at 25.
Oh, I know. I'm very blessed.
So you're blessed. It's how I feel. I'm blessed.
Yeah.
I'm 67.
Are you?
Yeah.
You don't look 67.
But I'm blessed.
Yeah.
I take no medicine. I have no issues with my health.
Yeah.
I have no problems. I had 4 kids. All of them got their own careers already.
Nice.
I got 5 grandkids. So I'm blessed.
Yeah.
Because right now, I went to see a doctor because I had to go every year.
Yeah.
And they changed my doctor. I don't know what happened. The other die or move, I don't know.
Yeah.
I went to see a new one. And he said, what kinds of medicines are you taking? I said, no, I don't take any medicine.
Uh-huh.
And he couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
He said, well, then you do like 5% of the people, because 95% of the people take one kind of, whatever, they take medicine.
Yeah.
And they sick.
Yeah.
And you don't know, because you don't experience other people.
Right. You don't know what they're taking.
You don't know.
I want to tell you another way, real quick, how you can be even more blessed. Okay? So, and this involves kind of the bad news. You know how Christianity has good news, the gospel? You've heard of that. Mm-hmm. Well, it also has bad news. The bad news is, because of our sin, we do deserve to be punished. You know, that God is so good that he's righteous, he will make sure that sin is punished. Yeah. The good news is that Jesus took that punishment for us. So that's, you know how they say Jesus died for our sins?
Yeah.
That's what that means. It means he's actually fulfilling God's righteousness, God's justice. There has to be a punishment for sin, but God takes it for us. So like when you were saying, like, God, why does God have to prove himself? He proved his love. When I asked, like, what's the most loving thing God could do for us?
He died for us.
He gave his son. He took the form of a man.
And this
Jesus.
what is very difficult to understand.
It is hard to understand. Yeah. How could God take human form and do that? And do that? Yeah. It sounds too good to be true, doesn't it?
If we really believe in life and stuff like this, you don't have to do it.
No. Yeah. Well, it sounds too good to be true, but I do know, I'm a history teacher, I do know historically Jesus did die 2,000 years ago. Like, he died on the cross. He actually, it's not just a story that we want to be true. It actually happened.
Yeah.
And people have had this understanding ever since that Jesus died for our sins. So I would say, yes, it is too good to be. You ever heard that song, Amazing Grace?
Yeah.
I mean, Amazing Grace, that's what that means, is it's so amazing, I can't believe it, that God would bless me even though I don't deserve it, by dying for my sins. And so what's the best way I could respond to that? Well, I can respond by loving him and following him and serving him. So when I became a Christian when I was in my late teens, and I put my faith in Jesus, and I began to believe in him and began to say, I want to follow him because he died for me. How can I live for him, right? He gave his life for me, and I want to give my life for him. And I know that he told you asked what his last commandment was. He told his disciples the day, I forget now, was it the night before he was crucified or right afterwards? But he said, if you love me, keep my commands, right?
Yeah.
And so I had to say, well, I do love him. He died for me. Why wouldn't I? But what are his commands? I'm not quite sure. I better read the Bible to find out.
Oh, yeah.
And so I started reading the Bible regularly, and now I understand. I would say I understand almost everything in the Bible. And if I don't understand it, I know who I can talk to find answers. But it makes a lot of sense now that I've started reading it. But just to read it kind of casually and not really
into it.
I've had to make a habit of reading it and go to church and they preach about it and I understand it. And,
yeah, well, it is. I would say you have to follow it, right?
And it's one thing to read it. If you read it without the intention of actually following it,
look,
it's kind of a waste.
we had this different ways of thinking.
Uh-huh.
Let's say, like in those areas in Brazil, in Mexico, where people never hear the word.
Yeah.
They never hear
about
the Bible.
Yeah.
They never had even the chance to buy one.
Yeah.
What happened to these people?
What will happen to them?
See, what would be their punishment? because they don't know.
Right. But do they still have a conscience? Like, do they know right from wrong?
We all have conscience.
Right.
It's our,
So
it's our
so
own-
so the punishment for not following our the reason why did we need to be saved? Well, because we have broken our God-given conscience.
Yeah.
So I personally, I hope that God has some kind of a plan for people like that.
But we never
But in
read about it.
but in the Bible it doesn't say.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? It is a question right there.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
How are you gonna adjust this to
Here's
that?
the thing. I believe if I'm really that concerned about the people who haven't heard, I
We'll
better
go
go
and
and
teach
tell them.
Yeah, and a lot of people do it.
You
A
know,
lot
and the
of
rest of
people
it
do.
is in God's hands, and even that's in God's
Yeah,
hands.
all we have to do is worry about us now.
Yeah, it's like, okay, what am I doing with this good news that I've heard, and who am I sharing it with? You know,
Yeah.
and
And you're
so
doing your part because you stop and you know.
yeah, I want to
You didn't
I
have
want to
to.
encourage you, if anything else, to go back and read the Bible a little bit more. Because,
I still do it. I still do it.
You
from
have a
time to
good
time.
Bible
Yeah,
to read? Because I have free Bibles I give out. Would you like one?
Well, I can have. Well, right
Do you-
now.
in Spanish or in English? I think I have both.
It doesn't matter. It can be in
It's just the New Testament. Sorry, it's a little bent up.
That's all right.
But one of the easiest,
you.
one of the reason I give a New Testament out is the Old Testament is, so think of the Bible as like a library, right? And there's many books in the library, and you don't have to read them from A to Z in order, right?
Yeah.
So the Bible, the best place to start reading is in the New Testament, if you're like taking another look at the Bible. And then once you get that figured out, you go back and you read the Old Testament. You get all the history behind it all. You know?
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, they think, oh, I got to read it cover to cover, and they start, at the beginning, and
Well,
then
it's confusing.
and then it gets into all these genealogies and all this history that doesn't seem to make much sense or be relevant. And so I say, hey, start with the New Testament, because that's the part about Jesus. You know?
When I was growing up, I would go to the Bible classes.
Oh yeah.
We had no Bible.
Yeah.
Certain days they will read certain chapters.
Yeah. And
according to the.
I got to say this: in Catholicism, most of its existence in the Catholic Church has been before the printing press. So before people had Bibles, and so they developed a tradition of just listen to the priest. And they didn't really emphasize you need to read the Bible for yourself, because they couldn't, which is understandable. And so Protestants came around when Martin Luther, it was the exact same time that they invented the printing press. And so the tradition among Protestants is, hey, we read the Bible, for ourselves.
The Bible, the priest, not the priest, but it was the priest who was our teacher too. He was our teacher. So.
Oh, your teacher? Oh, yeah.
His Bible was in Latin.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had to. Because sometimes we would go. How you understand?
See, for us Protestants, do you know that? I don't know if you've ever been to a Protestant church. When we go to church and we listen to the preacher preaching from the Bible, we have our own Bibles and we're following along.
Yeah.
Because we're saying, you better make sure and preach it right.
We had no
according
way
to what
to
it
follow.
says,
We will just listen.
Yeah.
He will translate it.
Yeah.
Read it in Latin.
Yeah.
And then we'll translate it.
And I think to be honest, a lot of priests did not faithfully preach what was taught in the Bible.
How do you know what it was?
And nobody would.
Nobody would question
nobody
anything.
knew.
Nobody knew.
Yeah.
It's when I got here that I started reading the Bible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I went to a group, same Catholic church,
Yeah.
And then it's when we had the group to read the Bible.
Yeah.
And the same thing, like read one book. Depending on the day, we'll have a booklet.
Yeah.
And you didn't go to church or whatever, you will go to the book.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
today
Yeah, I
It's,
mean, we try
Thursday-
to emphasize read the Bible in church along with the sermon, but also read it for yourself
You read
at
yourself,
home. Yeah,
and then you follow all the scripture of that week.
yeah,
That's how we did it. Right or wrong, I don't know. You
Yeah.
follow one book, finish that book, and then the next book.
yeah,
And that's when I started listening to more of the explanation of what it means.
yeah. Would you? I actually have I teach the Bible.
Mhm.
After this whole COVID thing is over, would you be interested in
Oh yeah.
getting together and
yeah,
we
sure.
can go over some stuff?
Well, if you have a group, I can go to the
Or you
group.
can join my group. I even have a group online, right now that I meet with.
Okay.
So I'll give you the information. I'll turn this off, get you the information.
Okay,
and
that's fine.
Stuff like that. Okay.
Write the information on the back, on one of the pages.
I might have had the wrong setting on this thing.